The Joe Rogan Experience.
We just found out yesterday, what teachers our kids have. You know what I mean? It's like there's the whole cultural parent circle of knowing which teachers you want and which ones you don't. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm not gonna go into whether we got what we wanted or not, but it's like the fucking drama behind it is it's hilarity to me. It's like it's such a whoa, is there abuse going on or what? You know, one teacher's a little more strict than the others. In my day, my parents would have said, that's the teacher we want. Nowadays, it's almost like the opposite. Yeah. You know what I mean? And now, in the old days, my mom would have been like, that's the stricter teacher? Yeah, put him in that class. Put him in that class. Because that's the one that's not going to take any shit, and that's the one that's going to get, make sure he knows people aren't going to take shit from him in life. You know what I mean? And that's, I understand that mentality. Yeah. Nowadays, it's almost the flip. That teacher's she just is so abrasive.
Too demanding.
It's well, what does she do? Well, she raised her voice to the kid. What was the kid doing? He was fucking losing his mind in class. So the fucking teacher raised their voice or something. I'm just giving general example here, but
when I was
in
hilarious. Florida, we got paddled. at school. I got in a fight with a kid named Preston Banks. We duked it out when we were
you got paddled.
I was like, fuck. I lived there from 11 to 13, so somewhere in that range. They fucking whacked me in the ass.
Where was this?
Paddle. Florida. Yeah. Yeah, Florida, they used to be allowed to paddle you. This dude had a paddle, like an actual wooden paddle. And me and this kid got... And this I remember thinking, even though I was probably 11 or 12 or whatever I was, when I got in a fight with this kid, I realized this kid had been badly burned when he was young. And we were in school together, and he was missing part of his ear. And his neck was all fucked up, and I was thinking wow, this guy, he's not doing so well. It made me realize, we got into this little scrap over nothing because he wasn't doing so well. And I didn't realize that until I was in the principal's office with him and the fight. We couldn't fight in front of the principal. That was the authority figure. We were both subdued. But I was realizing when I was around this guy, this isn't a mean guy. He's a sad guy. He's a guy that just didn't get any love, and he feels like he got ripped off by life because he got burned when he was a little kid.
For sure.
And it made me think. It changed the way I looked at people. That one little argument and fight with one kid, and then getting paddled.
Yeah.
Getting paddled just cemented it. Ow!
Put the stamp on it.
I don't agree with it. And the guy didn't hurt me. He didn't try to hurt me. He didn't try to hurt the other dude either. But he definitely paddled us. It used to be a legal thing.
Put a sting on it, man. You know what I mean? That's what we grew up with. I got spanked.
But is that good?
I think there's appropriate time and place. I really do.
For girls?
I don't know about that. That's different because I have two girls and I've never spanked my kids.
I don't think I'd spank
I've threatened
my son.
to.
I don't think I'd spank
I've threatened to, but I've never had to actually commit and do it. So I don't know. Yeah, no, it seems like it might not be the right. And even with a boy, I'm talking about that physical justice for me would be a rare thing. Let me give you an example of when, a time in my life when I definitely deserved physical justice and got it. My father, I was using guns when I was very young. We'd go out and shoot and not hunt necessarily, but he'd take us out and shoot in the mountains out in the Angeles forest back in the day. And I had very good gun education and understanding of guns. And one time when they were away, I fucked around with his pump shotgun and fucking accidentally fucking loaded it and fucking bang, it shot into the wall. All right. This was an apartment too. This wasn't a house. This was in an apartment building. Now it wasn't a wall connecting to another apartment, but
still.
But the possibilities that, you know what I mean? When they came home, a few hours later, that apartment outside was surrounded by police, with guns. They didn't know what happened. Ooh. The neighbors all called cops. They heard a shotgun. But so after they all settled it down, I got my ass fucking kicked that night by my father. Sure. You know what I mean? And some people nowadays would say that's fucking rough, but no, I fucking could have fucking killed a human being easily. You need to sometimes know, okay, this is because what you just did could have wound you up in fucking the penitentiary for the rest of your life. So an ass kicking doesn't seem as extreme as you think when you put it in the balance of that. So when you're getting to a level of that, I think, especially for a boy, You know what I mean? And I don't know if a girl was going that wild, I mean, I would encourage the mom to throw the beating. I mean, a dad can't throw that beating. You know, it'd be a little rough. But I think there's a time and a place where, like, hey, so if you're going to stop it, you got to let them know. This will be the rest of your life.
Yeah.
If you keep down this path. It's got to be that extreme to me for it to be a beating nowadays. When I was young, a beating could come from talking back.
Right. At least a smack in the face.
Yeah, well, that's, a shoe.
Just a little.
If it was mom, after like 13, mom stopped using the hands because, it didn't, I had outgrown her. My mom was little. My mom was little. My mom was a little woman, like 4'11", 5 foot tops.
So just throwing shit?
Oh, yeah. So after a while, it was like, it went from the hands to like stirring spoons and shit. And then once those started breaking, it became shoes and like, whatever else, broomstick. And then it became like, wait till your fucking father gets home.
My mom might have like gently smacked me upside the head. Gently. Like never like a real like wound.
No, my mom was a Brooklyn lady, man.
My mom was like, she might have been like, what are you doing, stupid? But I never got clipped. I never got dropped.
Mom's tried to
You never dropped me, Ma.
I remember being like 9 or 10 and mom's chasing me down the block.
No!
Catching me.
No!
And fucking tackling me, dude. like dead ass.
You get beat up in front of your friends.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's the worst. It has to be the worst.
It happened.
My mom was not chasing me. She'd be like, you're coming home eventually, dummy.
My mom wasn't, she wasn't having that. No, a word?
Oh, yeah. My mom would have never chased me. She would be like, I'm not playing your games.
She was little, but she was fast. She was
crazy
fast.
that she caught you. Beat your ass in front of your friends. It's so rough.
Yeah.
When you're a young boy and you're trying to be cool, it's like the most embarrassing. Like any day, you could just trip on your own dick and fall face into a fence. Like a fucking asshole. You're just so goofy.
I think it actually made some of my friends at the time understand me a little bit differently, dude. Like, oh, wow, dude, all right. Like,
yeah, for sure.
We get you now. We understand kind of your whole thing, like your steez, like you guys are nuts.